Instagram stories for Friday, March 7th. I'm your host, Daniel Hill, and this is the weekend edition of the Instagram stories. Today on the show, we're going to hear from the YouTube product team talking about a new plan that they're rolling out for YouTube Premium and some other features that they're working on. Additionally, the head of Instagram will stop by to share some strategy on how to think about your Instagram profile, especially when it comes to other people coming to your profile and deciding whether or not to follow you or not. Also, today on the show, we're going to hear an update about the Edits app that Instagram is working on and some key sharings from the recent Instagram creator event that was held that I was not invited to. All of that and more on today's episode, but first, here's a quick word from our sponsor. Welcome back. Let's start with the YouTube news, and I'm going to play a clip from the YouTube product team. The Chief Product Officer at YouTube is called Johanna, and you're going to hear her explain some of the new things that they've been working on.
I'm Renee Ritchie, YouTube Creator Liaison.
I'm Johanna Vulic, Chief Product Officer at YouTube. And today is also a big day for us because we are rolling out our pilot of YouTube Premium Lite to the US.
Wait, Premium Lite? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. Basically, when we talk to our users, what we found is there are a whole swath of people who want an ad-free, uninterrupted streaming service, but they don't necessarily want a music service. So that's where we got the idea of Premium Lite. And it's really cool because it allows us to give these kinds of viewers more choice, but also unlocks a new revenue stream for our creators. We've been testing this out in a number of markets. We've tested it in Germany, in Australia, and Thailand. And now we're bringing that test and that pilot to the US, and we're going to see how people in the US react.
So it sounds like this is really just the essentials without any of the extras.
Yeah, so think of it as like the essential creator content on YouTube. It's things like podcasting, it's things like makeup, gaming, tutorials, all the core creator content. And I just distinguish from music. So it's core creator content, uninterrupted, ad-free. And then if you want premium, if you want the premium with downloading and backgrounding and music, then that's the other offering.
Love that. So it's different options for people with different budgets. But as Chief Product Officer, how do you sort of figure out those tiers?
Well, we want it to be somewhat simple, right? You can't people have all kinds of different needs, but you don't want to have an infinite number of tiers because then it's pretty complex to understand. So you want to look at what are like the core needs. So we have people who really want a ton of things like downloading and backgrounding and music, and that's really our core premium offering. You have other people who are using Google services like G1, and so we have an offering that combines premium with G1. You have people who are in families, and so we have things like a family plan, and you might think about other kind of ways that people relate to each other, and so we're thinking about things there. And then this is our really basic tier for people who just want a really core, uninterrupted creator content.
Let's just pause for a second and talk about this. So YouTube Premium would be YouTube videos ad-free plus music and music videos ad-free and the ability to download and play in the background. All of that on YouTube Premium is $13.99 a month. This new Premium Lite that they're mentioning is only YouTube videos ad-free. And it says most videos ad-free, by the way. Music and music videos would not be ad-free, and it would not have the ability to do downloads or play in the background. Okay, let's continue with the YouTube clip because they talk about some other new features that I think are interesting.
I love that. And I love this idea of extra features. Can you talk a little bit about those and maybe what your favorites are?
One thing I'm really excited about right now are the new features that YouTube is developing with AI. And a couple of these are showing up in YouTube Premium. One of them is something we have called Ask Music. So you basically can use natural language, like you and I are talking right now, but you could do something like ask the music app to create me a playlist of the folk music I was listening to last summer, or create me a playlist of folk music that's like the folk music I was listening to last summer. So that's really cool. In the main YouTube app, we have an AI conversational search feature where you can interact with a video and ask questions about the video you've been watching. My favorite pieces of premium, and that's because I'm the chief product officer, I think, is one that helps us with product development. And that's youtube.com/new. And what this is just new features that the team has been trying out. And it's really cool because a lot of our premium users are our power users.
Yeah.
And so they'll go to this site, try out our new features, give us feedback, and then we can go from there to refine the features or decide whether or not to put them on the site. So that's a really fun power user feature that I think is cool.
That's amazing. Can you give us an example of that sort of feedback loop?
Well, one thing we're testing right now is a speed control to go up to 4x. Some people want to watch their videos at 4x speed. Those are, I guess, I don't know. Power brains, I guess. And some of the feedback we've gotten is really just about user experience, how to make that slider work a little better. And so those are the things we're trying to incorporate that feedback and just make the feature work as very best we can before we bring it live.
I love that so much. Is that also a way that you try to figure out which features are going to go premium and which ones may go broadly to everybody?
I'm just going to pause for a quick second to say that I do not understand the fascination with creating playlists for folk music the way she keeps talking about. Couldn't you just ask your smart speaker or your phone even, using your voice, to just play the music that you want? I think I'm missing that part. That's it for the clip from the YouTube team. We are going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to hear from the head of Instagram, giving you strategy on how to think about your Instagram profile and updates on the Edits app, as well as an Instagram creator event. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Let's start with the Edits news. If you're not familiar, Edits is a new video editing app that Instagram is working on that you will be able to download for free very soon, actually starting March 13th. And this Edits app is designed to compete with CapCut, InShot, and other apps that you might be paying for. Instagram recently made a post indicating some of the new features that the Edits app will have. For instance, you'll be able to manage multiple video projects at one time, which would be accessible from the Projects tab. It also has a cutouts editing tool, so you can isolate specific elements within any clip. And when you post a clip to Instagram that you made with the Edits app, you'll see a little banner in the bottom left corner that says Made with Edits. Previously, Instagram announced some other features that were going to be coming to the Edits app, including AI-generated background editing, still image animation, and collaboration tools. Now, all these features are not going to be available day one, but it's nice to see how hard Instagram is working on this app. The one thing that I wish it had, and I'll continue to bring this up over and over, is a desktop version. I like to edit videos on my computer. I know that many people like to do that as well because staring at a tiny screen while you do something like that is not a favorite activity for me personally. But for now, we just have to stick with the mobile version because that's all Instagram's going to have in the beginning. Okay, now let's move on to some strategy. Here's the head of Instagram talking about the Instagram profile page and how you should think about it.
Some quick tips for how to best use your profile on Instagram. It's useful to think of your profile as a first impression for people who discover you on Instagram and might not know who you are or what you do. And so there are a couple of things you can do to try to make a strong first impression. The first is make sure you're considerate about your profile pic. It's useful if they can actually see your face and it's not too small, and try to avoid text because it's not usually legible at that profile pic size. The second is to use not only your display name, but also your bio to explain who you are. It's really useful to be able to just read at a glance about somebody when you get to their profile. And if you use keywords about your industry or what you do, that it can also help with things like search and SEO. And lastly, you can pin up to 3 posts to the top of your grid. So whether it's a photo, a carousel, or a reel, you can long press it in your grid and tap pin if you want to make sure you control that top line. Now, all that said, I would also encourage you not to be too precious about your profile. I know a lot of people care a lot about how they show up online, and I get that, but people want to see the more authentic side of you, not the perfect side of you. And most of the content people are going to see from you isn't going to be on your profile. It's going to be in feed and stories and DMs. Hopefully this helps a bit. More advice to come soon. Peace.
The main takeaway here, no one cares about the aesthetic of your Instagram profile page as much as you do. And the last piece of Instagram news has to do with a Instagram creator event that was held in New York City earlier this week. I live in the New York City area and I was not invited, but I'm just going to let that go and focus on the news. The @creators account shared some takeaways from the event. First, the main one, 50% of all time spent on Instagram is on Reels. This is a big deal, actually. Then they share some distribution tips to keep in mind. They say what can help your content, like and reply to comments on your reel within the first few days, share your content when your audience is online, upload at the highest resolution, and post your content on other platforms at the same time. Then they share what can hurt your reach on Instagram. Engagement bait, third-party watermarks, videos longer than 3 minutes, low quality videos, meaning less than 720p and 30 frames per second, and posting content you did not create. I think it is a key takeaway here that Instagram is recommending that you not make videos longer than 3 minutes for the platform. If you looked back at the content from Instagram's creator event last year around this time, they were saying not to make videos longer than 90 seconds. So it's clear that the attention span of people on Instagram for longer videos is increasing, but just because you can make a video that's very long on Instagram does not mean that you should. Okay, that's going to do it for today's show. If you can do me a favor, I made a new piece of content about the show based on a recent episode. Then I posted it to Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Threads, LinkedIn, everywhere I could think to post that content. So if you can go give that content a like, I would really appreciate it. As always, thank you for listening, and be sure to come back next time for more social media news, strategy, and other things that you need to know.
Let me tell you a couple things that you should know about me. A product manager, but do not have a bachelor's degree. But actually, that's factually a fraction of me. And other fractions posting content irregular and irrationally. Still probably won't get a job at the Gram. They forgot, they don't know, or don't care who I am. That's why you never see me at the parties and events. My lack of followers must make me irrelevant. Don't have a course, a book to sell to make a bag of grand. Not a social media marketer, don't represent any brands. Plain to see, don't have an agency, but I got a lot of spam. Just putting in my work, without the glitz and glam. Won't catch me eating fish, unless it's shrimp or clam. No six pack, no risk that, there's a gym card in my hand. Don't have a full-time job, but I got a lot of plans. Stay plotting, dropping knowledge on TikTok and Instagram.